Well, whether you are a college student living on your own or a homeowner with kids and a spouse, it's important to have a budget. But some may not know where to start when it comes to budgeting. We're getting answers on this Financial Friday here on Good Day PA. Rachel Mathias is here to tell us the importance of budgeting. You probably hate this question because it's probably so obvious to you, but why? Why do we need a budget?
I know. I read a statistic the other day that said about 40% of adults would not be able to cover a $400 expense if it popped up tomorrow.
Oh my goodness.
And when you think about that, that's really scary. And that's why budgeting is important, to cover those certain situations. And really, budgeting is great for two different reasons. It ensures that we have money for the things that we need, like a roof over our head and food on our tables, but also for things that we want, like vacations and shopping too.
And that's important. Don't think you can't have that if you're on a strict budget. I think some people think it's going to be really restrictive, or that they don't have enough money to have a budget. Why do you find that people are hesitant?
And you said it exactly, really for two main reasons. They think it's going to be very time consuming. They might envision themselves sitting at the kitchen table late at night, crunching numbers, trying to make the budget work, or it's very restrictive, that they're not going to be able to do any of the things that they enjoy in life because it's not in the budget. But really, if you kind of put aside those ideas, budgeting is just simply a plan for your money and telling it where you want it to go each month.
And you and I were chatting. I'm not a numbers person. I am not a money person.
I'm not either.
Budgeting isn't really about, I mean, it's about that, but it's not about that. It's not, I like doing budgeting.
Exactly.
Where do you think people can really begin with creating this? Where to start?
So I always like to suggest at first, set some goals for yourself, some short-term financial goals, some long-term financial goals, and make sure that your budget is helping you work towards those. Also, just keep it simple. Budgeting does not have to be these really complicated spreadsheets. It can be as simple as listing your incomes and your expenses and tracking them each month. And just remember, patience and practice. You're not going to be perfect at it the first time you try it, but each month it will get a little bit easier.
And you can adjust, right? If you start and see, well, I'm spending more on eating out, I'm not spending as much on my electric as I thought. You can start playing with your money and really understanding where to put it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then you'll find you have that $400, right, for that expense.
Yep, you're able to create an emergency fund so that when those things pop up, it's not going to break your budget.
Right.
So then those $400 expenses, which might seem scary right now, once you have a budget in place, really won't seem that intimidating.
Have you worked with people on creating budgets, and have you gotten them positive feedback, like, hey, you're right, it's not so bad?
Absolutely, and they really, at the end of the day, they come back and they say, it's just after a month of budgeting, I see now where my money is going. It used to come to the end of the month and I would be like, where did all of my money go? But with budget, you know exactly where your money is going, and you'll see how much money you have left over at the end of the month that you can do what you want with.
I found for myself that what seemed like it would be stressful budgeting, it's turned out to be the opposite. It relieved so much stress.
Yeah, it's addicting. Once you get started at it and you see all the money you're saving, it's fun.
It is. It's really fun. I'm telling you, it's coming from somebody who does not like numbers, It is fun. The Pennsylvania Credit Union Association, it keeps doing these segments with us because you're really giving back to the community. You really want to help educate the community, and this is one way you're doing it. What are some other useful resources for learning about budgeting or learning more about credit unions?
Absolutely. So there are a plethora of different budgeting apps, online budgeting tools. It's really just a matter of researching what works best for you and your lifestyle. Also, Members First Federal Credit Union has budgeting seminars that we've created for students all the way up to adults that we will come on site and facilitate those to really kick off budgeting. And then also ibelong.org is another really fantastic resource through PCUA that will get you in connection with all the local credit unions in your area, figure out which one works best for you, and they would love to sit down with you, go over those long-term and short-term goals you've established for yourself, and create a plan to help you achieve them.
Very good. See, I'm smiling over budget. Thank you so much, Rachel. Good to have you.